Alright, today I'm going to try to explain how I installed a catalytic converter and two oxygen sensors on a 03 Honda Accord. I had gotten some errors on the computer, checked up the codes, and I'll list the codes, which ones I found. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I will list them down. Anyways, I already installed the cat, the O2 sensor and all that, but I want to go over a couple things, a little bit of a step-by-step on how to do it. I know you're supposed to actually take off the axle, I think, on these in order to get to the cat, which is probably a lot easier. I did not want to mess with the transmission axle and stuff, so it kind of scared me a little bit. The cat didn't scare me. But anyways, so what I did was I jacked up the car, put it up on the ramps. I even jacked up the back a little bit, but you don't really have to do the back. I don't know why I did it, but I did it anyways. First thing you want to do is locate the catalytic converter, which is behind the motor, right by the firewall. That's it right there. This is the little bad boy here. And I ran it a little bit, so it's a little hot back here, so I'm not going to hang around here too much. Anyways, see a bolt right there. There's 4 bolts. Every time I get my hand on there, I kind of dim the lighting, but there's 4 bolts. There's one here, there's one a little bit lower right here, and then there's 2 on the opposite side. I mean, you can see them with the camera. Anyways, stick your head down and you'll be able to see them. Just can't really see them with the camera itself. Anyways, so what I did was I took those 4 bolts off, and then what I did was I took the 2 10mm bolts off of the shielding on each side. The shielding has one here, and there's one right on the opposite side. There's 2 10mm bolts, and then I used I guess they call it a monkey wrench, to take off the O2 sensor on the top. Unless you have that tool, special tool for it, then you can take it off. And then right up here, follow the cabling. It's right here. So you unplug that, and then in that same harness, you'll see another plug. That is for the other O2 sensor that you're gonna have to take off. So you might as well unplug those. Just push down and pull on them. I can't do it now because I actually only have one hand to work with. But anyways, so what you want to do is do that first. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to unbolt the cat right underneath. We've got a lot better lighting than we did before. Okay. So you want to unbolt that. If you look right underneath here, here's your muffler. Goes all the way back there. Comes up. So we're going to unbolt the cat. There's 3 bolts. Mine have green on them. I don't know if all of them are like that, but you're going to unbolt those, and then you're going to shoot up here on the front where the front cat is, and you're going to bolt 3 bolts up there as well. There's one there, 2 there, and there's 1 there. These ones that come out with the stud and with the nut. The other ones just the nuts come out, but these ones the whole thing comes out. So don't be scared like you broke it or something. That will come out, and this is going to drop down a little bit. And then what we want to do is, there's an actual bracket with a rubber piece that holds the whole muffler. And there's 2 bolts there. I believe they are 12mm. There's one there, one there. So we want to take those off. And this whole exhaust system is going to come down towards you. That's not that heavy, but that's not the problem. What we want to do is we want to put something up against the piping. Don't put it on the cat because it has another cat here. But you want to put it on the piping, just to kind of hold it up and then push it to the side a little bit, as much as you can, just so that it's not in your way. Next thing, what we're going to do is, once this is down, there's a bolt right there. You can actually see it right there. I'm pointing right at it. It's right in between here. Once we pull this down, that bolt has a bracket, and that bracket goes to the catalytic converter. Let's slide this lighting over here. Oh, you can see it right there a little bit. That's the buddy right there. That bolt right there. We want to take those 2 bolts off, and then the whole bracket's going to come off. There's like a bracket, and it kind of turns, and it goes this way. And you want to put that aside and put the bolts right in the same holes that you took them off, so you remember them. There's a lot of bolts will be taken off on this car. So then, the next step is this black, I think it's like a heat shield. And there's a bolt right there that you can see, and there's 2 other ones. There's one down here. You can't see it right now, but when you got all this down, you'll be able to see these bolts. There's one there. Just see where the shield is, and there's 3 bolts on it. There's one on the top. There's actually 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom. And the other one, you're going to have to go around where the tire is. Now, if you can see it, you might be able to see it right here. There it is, right there. But you're going to have to go around the suspension over here and behind the. You get your hand behind. I think it's the upper ball joint arm or something. You want to go behind there with the ratchet, and you'll be able to loosen that. Actually, the bolt I was showing you wasn't the right one. It's right next to it though. But anyways, you want to push that. You want to unbolt that bad boy, and then what's going to happen is you're going to want to slide this bracket out towards the driver's side. You're going to have to jiggle it a little bit. It's not going to come right out. I had a little bit of a hard time. All of a sudden, it just came right out. Just kind of wiggled it back and forth, and that's the way you're going to put it right back in later. So once you get that heat shield off, there's one more heat shield that I removed. Now, these ones I believe you can take off before you do anything else with the exhaust. Because I'm sorry, with the cat. The cat, in other words, it's unbolted here. It's unbolted. There's going to be kind of dangling in there. So what I do is I kind of push the cat up to get it out of the way so that you can get to these bolts. Okay, and then once you push it up, there's another heat shield right here, right behind here. It's like a silver one. This had a 10mm bolt that broke. So I don't know if somebody had taken this off before, but it just snapped as soon as I just barely tried to take it off. So I had to rig something like a little screw so that this plate doesn't rattle later. But this, just imagine this being a 10mm bolt, and you have to take that out. And then there's another one down here, which is right there. And then there's another one up there that you're going to have to feel around. Once you push that cat up, you'll be able to get to that third one and loosen that up and take that. I took this whole, it's a small little heat shield on the body of the car. I took that out, okay? And then I think lastly was what I did was I removed the last 2 heat shield bolts. There's one of them right there. You can see it right there. This one, and then there's one on the other side. So once you have it unbolted from the top, you'll be able to spin the cat, and then take off the other bolt to make it easier to get to. The only drawback is this sensor kind of hits sometimes, so you kind of have to push it up and move it over. But you'll be able to get to that other bolt. And then once you get that bolt off, then what I did was I took one of the shields out, and I pushed the cat as far up as I could, because the shields were no longer on the cat. So I pulled one of the cat shields out, and then I pulled the other one out, and then the cat came right out. Okay, without having to remove this thing here, the axle. Even the dealer said, "Oh, you're supposed to remove it." I said, "Well, I didn't." Anyways, it was a little bit harder, but that's what I did. And then once you get it out, what I suggest is put the heat shields, because I bought new ones, but if you have the same, you're going to use the same ones, that's fine. I don't know if you have to really use new ones. If you're going to use the same ones or new ones, just mock it up like you're going to put it together outside, so you know when you put it back up there, you know that say the right heat shield or heat shield B is on against the wall or on the other side. So that way when you stick it up there and you create like a sandwich effect, you're not going to be having to be pulling in and out and be cussing and swearing because what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to get in there and line it up and then put your little bolts back in there, because that's the first thing you want to do is kind of push it up there. There's a couple of options you can do here. You can try to just put the cat up there first, then put one of the heat shields on it like you're putting it on it, and then put the other heat shield like you're putting it on it, and then push it up as high as you can and try to get the cat out of the way. Like I said earlier, if you took off the oxygen sensor that was up top, now you're going to have a little bit more room to push it up. And that's the main thing that caused problems for me. And I didn't put any of the O2 sensors on until I was almost ready to do it. So then I pushed the cat all the way up, and then what I did was I went backwards. I put this heat shield on first, the one in the back, the silver one, the one with the 3 bolts, and then next I put the black shield back on. Okay. But I had the bolts on the cat just a little bit on there, and as long as I'm able to still spin the cat and tighten up those, the top bolts are the most important ones. Tighten up those a little bit, not a lot. I left them just a little bit tight so that I'm able to open up this this shielding so that I could put the oxygen sensor in. I got my crescent wrench. I tightened it up as hard as I could, and then I closed the shield. I put the 2 bolts on. And then basically from there, I went ahead and I started to tighten up all the other shieldings. This one, the silver one, the black one. And then once I got those 2 shields put on, I hung the cat up on top, and I lightly put the bolts on there. I didn't tighten them up much at all. And then what you want to do is mock everything up first, because I went through this headache that I did do that, and I had issues. So nextly, I put all the bolts on here on the cat on the bottom, just lightly put them on, and don't forget to put that bracket on, the one that goes behind here. Put that bolt in, the first one, but the one that goes actually on the cat, do not put that one on yet. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. Because what happens is, if you try to tighten everything up, then you're not going to be able to you're not going to be able to put that bolt in, the one that goes right here. So what you want to do is you want to put the bracket, the 2 brackets here, the silver one and the black one, and then you put that one that goes right here. You put that bracket on there, but you leave this bolt off, and then you put the 3 bolts on here lightly, and then you put the ones up on front lightly. Just barely put them on, and then also attach the bracket that holds up the whole muffler system. Just barely put it on. Once you got them all kind of mocked up, then go ahead and put this bolt in just a hair, the one that goes on this gray bracket. Just put it on just so that it's at least grabbing, and then go back up to the top, and then you're going to tighten up the one right on the manifold, the 4 bolts up there. Okay. By this time, before all this, you want to make sure that your manifold, the bottom ones at least, that they're tight. You can tighten the other ones up on top, but I did them all down here. I tightened them all up, the little 10 mil bolts, and then hung it, and then mocked everything up, and then kind of put all the bolts kind of barely in. And then I went back up on top, and then I started tightening everything up there. Once I got everything tight up there, I came back down here, and then I tightened